All right, let's quickly go now to East London once again, where we understand Mlibo Qoboshiyane is briefing the media following, of course, his decision to join Babalo Madikizela. Let's take a listen to what is being said there.
And it would be great to have you elected into the executive of the province once again. Just in essence, your role, where you see the Eastern Cape where it is today and where it could go.
Well, we can still improve. We need a very strong, coherent leadership in the province. A province that is having a touch with society. An organization that must also have credibility. We can't be characterized by manipulation of things. We have to be credible enough as leaders of this province, working together with our branches, reactivate this organization, ensuring that we have a brand that is connecting with the people of this province, and we deliver hope to the people of Eastern Cape. And I think any contribution, whether I'm a non-executive in the form of PC, but I will remain as a member of African National Congress, the interest that we're supposed to germinate and build much more stronger is to ensure that this organization is in peace with itself. This organization is delivering peace to the society, because once we go to a BGM, we fight, there is blood on the floor, as we have seen in 2017 in this same site. That can never be allowed to repeat itself whilst we are standing as this generation.
When you look at the historical context and the journeys that you have traveled with the likes of Cyril Ramaphosa, historically you've never been aligned when it comes to the ANC and the trajectory of the ANC. What then made about the U-turn for you to see them as a prospect of future growth, unity within this organization of yours?
Well, I don't know when you say we never aligned. I worked as a PEC member deployed in Amatole for 2 terms. And Terestut was the secretary. That's the person from the Youth League, for him rising to the office of the secretary of the region, whom I worked with very close. I am saying since 2009 in the PEC. So we had no issues. The only person that I'm working closer to in this realignment will be Comrade Babalo himself. Remember, in 2017, we were in 2 poles apart. But that didn't define enmity between us. And even now, it's not about any personality convergence, but it's about the interest of saying we have to move this province forward. And indeed, the clergy of this province, religious bodies, try to facilitate this between himself and Comrade Oscar, so that we can deliver a better, well-coordinated conference with less tensions. That they have done. Both of us, we've attended that session. Unfortunately, we couldn't be together as 3 proposed, because this is just a proposed list. The conference is going to pronounce on elected leaders of the African National Congress.
Have you spoken to Oscar Mabuyane since you joined the Babalo Madikizela faction, and what did he say? But
I will have a problem to say it's Babalo faction. There is no faction here. This is a meeting of delegates. There is absolutely cross-pollination of ideas. We talk, we convince each other. That's why the rules are allowing that delegates in this conference can do so, convince each other, win others, and so on. And I haven't yet spoken with him, but we met here yesterday, we talked, but we never get into details of where one is going, what is being offered, because all of us, we were preferred leaders in this conference.
What were your discussions and what were the final conclusions with the perspective supporting Babalo Madikizela and Terestut and Olele Kompela? Where are they slotting you in their top 5 or PEC, or is there perhaps another talk of an executive position should there be a reshuffle if they were to win the conference?
I indicated to comrades that they must not worry about me being in any of the top 5. That's not my interest. I served top 5 in the Youth League, and I think that was sufficient. Anything that may happen in the reconfiguration must never be a determinant for me to serve this province. And I said to them, my availability is to serve the people of this province, the African National Congress, for which I'm a member since Youth League to date. Now, which position, really, it's not the preoccupation. What I need, I'm available to serve Eastern Cape Collective.
On a national aspect, you've been seen and you're a very adamant supporter of former President Jacob Zuma. Some have said that one of the reasons that you may be sidelined, perceived to be sidelined by the incumbent national leadership, is your closeness and your support of the former president. What is your view, particularly when it comes to those murmurs?
I don't understand if I'm supporting president is a crime. He's a former president of the African National Congress, elected 2 terms. I was in the youth league that was campaigning for him. That one is true. I was in the PEC of Eastern Cape that voted for him in 2 conferences, and I was the spokesperson of this province during that time. Each decision taken in that PEC, I was part of the people who were pronouncing. All of those that I served with, starting from Comrade Pumulo and Comrade Mabuyane, we were together in support of former President Jacob Zuma. And that is not a sin, that is not a crime. But President Zuma was not available for any election in 2017. I don't know who will have a wisdom of characterizing us post that date as former president. Who was not supporting him? I just want to know, if they were not supporting him, they were supporting who? He was the president. My respect, understand that they supposed to have also supported the president of the ANC. If that is a crime, who elected him? Was it me alone? This province went to Limpopo and we went to Mangaung, I believe. We elected President Zuma and we can pronounce our position quite clearly. These lies that are peddled, that there are people who support President Zuma is a retiree. Everybody knows he's staying in Nkandla. What will be the point of being labeled each and every time you stand that you are Zuma person? Why must we divorce ourselves from reality and truth that indeed we supported him? So I don't understand this. Why is it created to be apportioned to others? In this province, the entire collective supported him.
Are there some in your province who are using the name of former president, rather the incumbent president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, just in order to propel themselves as leaders of the province by using their perceived proximity towards him?
I may not know that, but what I know is that we need to respect the president of the African National Congress in office, and we need to give all the support to him because he is presiding over the affairs of this organization as elected leader under this term. So if there are those that wish to expropriate him to be theirs, who is going to be our president? We suppose all of us to say he is the president of the African National Congress and he must be accorded such respect, because one day they will also be labeled as people who support if he's a former. So these are the things that we're supposed to understand as members of the ANC. The president of the organization is elected by popular mandate of its own members, and President Cyril Ramaphosa is not an exception to that. We're supposed to give and accord him that honorable respect, and I believe I support him. He's the president now. Why not?
A topical issue and a contentious issue is now about to be tabled, the credentials.
Yes.
In 2017, they were part and parcel of the reasons why the conference descended into chaos. Going into this session now, how would you reflect from then and what should transpire now to avoid those unfortunate scenes of 2017?
I really don't know what can we do about these issues of credentials as the movement. It's really becoming much more of a problem for the organization that we can have conference of credentials, a document that is taking 3 days to be complete. I experienced this in Forte, where accreditation took 3 days when we elected Comrade Stone Susan. And a movement, an organization that has modernized like African National Congress, supposed to rethink this thing. It's becoming a pandemic, if I may say, in the ANC, that we are now on Sunday for a conference that should have started on Friday on the issue of delegations and people who are supposed to represent the aspiration of branches. And I think going to the policy conference, going to the national conference, there must be a reflection on this. It's giving the ANC bad name, and I think it's not augur well for Africa and the globe that is watching a big movement like ours, 110 years, unable to congeal with the reality that a meeting supposed to confirm those that are processed by branches coming to conference, and conference supposed to take 10 minutes to adopt. You are coming from this branch, you are here, and the intention is to deal with content issues of conference, but we are here still to think about, is the delegate inside here a relevant, accredited by a branch? That is really a very sad development in the history of this organization. But I hope that today this thing will be clarified and this conference will proceed up until we come to the dot end, and when everybody else will be giving a standing ovation for the leaders that are going to emerge here. And we must accept a leader elected democratically as the African National Congress. Even if I didn't like that person, it's immaterial. The issue is a leader emerges, a collective that is coming out of this conference must be accorded respect to work through these 4 years and come and report back about work and progress that have been achieved.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mlibo Qoboshiyane. Let's not keep you, sir. You can go to the credentials presentation. That was Mr. Mlibo Qoboshiyane saying that it's really sad and an indictment of the ANC for a conference that was meant to start on Friday, still discussing credentials on Sunday. And it speaks about the deeper rooted problems within the ANC, also speaking about those saying that he should divorce himself from former President Jacob Zuma, saying that he openly supported the former president, still supports the former president, but also supports the incumbent president of the ANC, and that they should be those whom are expropriating the name of the incumbent President Cyril Ramaphosa to themselves alone are doing a disservice to the president of the ANC.
Samkele, thank you very much indeed. Always on the toes there, speaking to Mlibo Qoboshiyane on an array of issues, but of course the fact that overnight we saw those latest developments of him joining. He says we shouldn't call it factions or camps because they're all delegates at that conference. Him joining, of course, the camp of Babalo Madikizela.